Next on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
We head into the fields to get expert advice on equipment, maintenance, and haymaking. It's a look back at some of the valuable stories from New Holland agriculture.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to this week's special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. Each year, the NCBA trade show has acres of exhibits for you to look over. I always enjoy seeing farm machinery and equipment at the trade show, and one of the great displays is always from our friends at New Holland Agriculture. So this week, we're taking a look back at some of our favorite stories from New Holland with expert insights on haymaking and other ways to make your equipment and machinery pay bigger dividends in your operation. Let's head out to the field to hear more from the experts. Welcome back. The competitive business environment of the cattle industry today requires consistent, quality feed sources for cattle rations. Putting up high-quality hay can be challenging, and New Holland Agriculture offers hay equipment to make this process faster, easier, and more efficient. We learned more from Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter on how producers can make the most of their time in the hay field.
Feed is often a costly input for producers, and nearly every cattle operation uses hay for forage. Alfalfa hay is especially valued by cattle feeders as a high-quality source of protein and energy. To make the best possible forage, experts from New Holland say producers should pay attention to cut quality in the hayfield.
When you start in the hayfield with a good quality product and you've cut your hay and conditioned your hay at the perfect time, the right maturity for the best nutrient quality, that's where you're going to get your best return on investment for your feed dollars.
Near Riverton, Wyoming, Justin and Morgan Jammerman own and operate Fleur-de-Lis Cattle Company. The pair of brothers custom feed cattle and also produce their own hay supply. The two know that proper cutting of the alfalfa results in more tonnage, better crop regrowth, and a valuable feed source for their animals.
We're a custom feeding haying operation. We run about 2,000 head of cattle here locally. Our biggest concern is nutrient content, quality of our forage production, and efficiently gaining weight for cattle.
These calves are just freshly weaned, and we want to make sure that they have the best chance to get going. So quality of feed is really important. The calf is dealing with so much. I just want to know we got the best feed available that we can put up to give him.
A successful hay harvest must start with a good clean cutting of the crop.
Cut quality is extremely important, and for a lot of different reasons. First of all, aesthetics, because a lot of producers take a lot of pride in their fields and they want to make sure that they're doing a good job. Probably the second most important reason is tonnage. You want to make sure that you're getting that high value crop off the field, and if you're not getting it all, that's wasted hay. Probably the last reason is quality. In an alfalfa field, the stems regrow from the node. So any stem that's cut off or stringy, that's going to take away from quality the next time you come back into that field.
Using hay equipment that's designed to handle specific crops is one way to ensure cut quality. New Holland offers windrowers with both disc and sickle cutting systems.
There's a big debate about disc versus sickle. A lot of folks are very fiercely loyal to either one cutting system or the other. Sickle type machines cut with a scissor-like action. They cut very close, very clean. They have a reel which you can adjust both speed and position, get down underneath that lodged crop. In very light hay, they excel at a very good quality cut from that standpoint. Folks that grow prairie hay in particular really like the advantage of sickles for those reasons. For alfalfa growers, guys that are doing very heavy tonnages, there's definitely been a trend to move towards these disc-type machines because they can better handle those heavier crops, cut more quickly, and get more acres knocked down in an hour.
Covering acres quickly is important to the Jammerman brothers. Lately, they've fought to stay ahead of the weather.
Well, what I look for is time. Our windows are only so big. So we have to get in, get it done right and quick. efficient. This year has been tough. I mean, it rains every 4 or 5 days. When it gets rained on, your quality goes down. So we're looking at drying time and everything else, trying to speed it up.
When we look at producers today, it's all about productivity and getting those acres knocked down more quickly. With the disc type machine, you're able to cut more quickly than you are with a sickle. And in most cases, you can double your productivity compared to a sickle type machine because of that ground speed advantage.
Because sickle and disc cutting systems both have their advantages, hay operators have several things to consider when choosing between the two.
I think the real question is it bigger or faster? A Durabine 419 disc head knocks down a big wide 19-foot swath. The largest HS sickle head is only 18 feet. So when it comes to size and cutting width, our current disc models with our Durabine offering actually has a little bit of size advantage. You're able to go faster across the field because it's better able to handle particularly those very heavy crops. Our HS series haybine headers have a real advantage in down entangled crops that are very difficult to pick up. So while they go slower than a disc machine, they are better able to handle that down entangled crop. That's not to say a disc can't handle it as well, but will be times where a sickle machine will cut cleaner than a disc machine will. And of course, those very light prairie type grasses, where a sickle is certainly going to excel because of the light, wispy nature of those crops.
No matter what kind of machine hay operators choose to run, sharp knives are a must. Experts from New Holland suggest that operators inspect discs and blades on a daily basis to achieve maximum cut quality.
Well, whether it's a sickle or it's a disc, sharp knives are extremely important. In the case of a sickle, you have many, many knives. And one damaged knife in a sickle can certainly affect your cut quality. With the disc, there's many fewer knives on those machines, so each knife essentially is doing more work and covering a larger area. So a damaged knife on a disc type machine can definitely impact the cut quality.
And if you do need to make a knife change, New Holland's Quick Max system makes it easy to do.
So the Quick Max system allows producers to change blades more quickly than traditional bolted knives. Inserting the Quick Max tool, you can quickly release the damaged blade. And replace it with a fresh, clean cutting edge. When it comes right down to it, the whole reason we're here in a hayfield is because we want to make the best possible product. We think about, the quality of the cattle going to market, but it really starts right here in the hayfield. For the beef producer, it comes simply down to how many pounds can I put on that animal? And producing a high-quality forage product like this alfalfa here is going to allow you to do that.
Reporting from the alfalfa fields in central Wyoming, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
For more information and a look at the full range of New Holland hay tools, visit the website newholland.com. We'll be right back.
There is a new world out there, revealing itself in unpredictable ways. A world that demands more from the land and those who grow, farm, and build on it. This new world calls for the ingenuity to get more out of it, while preserving as much as we can. After all, to stay ahead of tomorrow, we need to be equipped for it today. New Holland, equipped for a new world.
The 2017 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show is set for Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. It's the cattle industry's biggest convention with education, networking, and fun. Plus, you can check out the huge NCBA Trade Show, outstanding entertainment, and much more. Mosey on down to Music City for the 2017 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, February 1st through the 3rd. Visit beefusa.org for more.
For most cattlemen and women, this past winter was one of the toughest in many years. And that means a lot of hay was used to keep cows in good condition. When it comes to producing hay this year, many producers will be looking to maximize production and quality. One way to improve hay quality is by properly conditioning your hay crop. For more on the keys to producing high-quality hay, we turn to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter.
The Imperial Valley of California is known worldwide for the quality of alfalfa it produces. Alfalfa hay is prized because of the high levels of energy, protein, and nutrients it provides to cattle. But if you want to increase the feed value of your alfalfa and other hay crops, the experts say you should be conditioning that crop properly when you cut it.
That's a really crucial step in hay or haylage making, but particularly for hay. First, if we condition properly and spread it into a wide swath, we get the initial moisture loss to be less, and therefore we preserve the fermentable carbohydrates and improve the nutrition. The second thing, of course, is that we get the hay dried sooner, so that when we're in harvesting, we don't have as much yield loss from the next cutting. And then the third thing would be that in some parts of the country, getting it off the field a day sooner means we're less likely to get rained on.
In fact, the time of day you choose to cut your crop is a factor in ultimate hay quality.
We do know that when we cut in the afternoon, we have more starch and sugars in the plant, and that again makes it more palatable to animals and makes it higher quality. Whether or not we cut in the afternoon depends on how fast we can get that initial drying to occur. And so if we're in the western states where drying is good, then cutting in the afternoon is a good idea because it will increase the sugar in the harvested forage. If we're in the eastern states, then if we cut in the afternoon, we have more sugar, but it doesn't dry as much by nightfall, so we lose it before we make hay, and the benefit is negligible. So in the west, cutting in the afternoon is preferred. In the eastern United States, probably in the morning.
While moisture is seldom an issue in the Imperial Valley, in most areas of the country, getting the crop dried, baled, and out of the field more quickly benefits quality.
So rapid drying, losing that first 15% moisture is crucial because that helps shut down respiration and preserves the starch and sugars for the animals that we're feeding. What this means to us is twofold. First off, in terms of selling hay, the prices that we've seen over winter, a 4% starch loss would be about a $40 per ton premium discount in California and would be a $60 or $70 discount for hay in the Midwestern United States. The other thing to keep in mind, though, is that it's important for dairy, but it's also important for beef cattle. With the kind of winter that we had, if we had that extra quality, we could have fed the cattle quality hay to help them get through that cold weather without the need for supplemental grain and still have maintained the body condition on those animals that we want for calving in the spring.
So what can you do to influence the quality of your hay? First, recognize that setting up your mower conditioner to create a wider swath leads to faster dry down.
A wide swath is really the single most important factor for drying for haylage and even for hay, because a wide swath spreads the forage out so that it intercepts more sunlight. It keeps the stomates or the holes in the leaves open so that they lose their moisture faster. And then conditioning, of course, is important for drying the stems. So a wide swath is for drying the leaves, conditioning is for drying the stems.
So New Holland offers a wide dry conditioning module in our new disc spine series. It's 125 inches wide, and it is the widest in the industry, and we're excited to unveil that. And really, why is that important? It creates a nice smooth mat of crop coming out the rear of the machine, and thorough conditioning is the key here. Being able to cut at 13 or 16'3" and then push that crop back through 125 inches of conditioning provides a nice, thorough conditioning job.
In addition, producers can choose New Holland's wide, thin fin kit to help make dry down happen more quickly.
On our smaller side pull cutting machines, we offer a kit called Wide Thin Fin. And what that kit does is we basically take off the windrow shields, take off the side deflectors on the swath gate, and basically mount fins underneath the swath gate itself so that the crop can be basically swathed at a measurable distance greater than the cutting. So 9'2" or 10-foot cutting machines, we like to see the swaths be wider than the cutting widths themselves. If you can get it right around 70 to 80, maybe even 90% of cutting width, spreading that crop wide and thin will promote dry down. It will promote the sun exposure, and it will also help the wind to come in and dry down that crop. And taking that moisture level down from the 80% down to that 50 and then down to 13% is really something that we look forward to.
In addition to a wide swath, recognize that there are a variety of choices you can make when it comes to the tools that will condition your hay crop.
So New Holland offers 3 effective crop conditioning solutions for the general hay customer, hay and forage owner. And really on our discbine we offer 3 solutions for that. Number 1 is the Chevron rubber intermeshing rolls, and really that rubber roll is good for the alfalfa type crop, the soft legumes, something that has leaves. It really provides a good crimp and crush crop conditioning with those rubber rolls, and going through there provides a really good opportunity for the moisture to escape and help with the respiration process so that you can get the dry down that you're looking for. The second type of effective conditioning that New Holland offers is called our leaning edge flails, and New Holland offers that on all of our discbine series. And basically the reason that you wanted to use the flail type conditioning is going to be for more of a grass type hay, something where it's much more aggressive. Guys use them to really help to promote the dry down. It's probably the most effective type of conditioning, but it's also the most forceful type of conditioning as well. The third type of conditioning that we offer in our discbines is a steel on steel intermeshing roll. And that really is going to be for more of a cane or a grass type crop as well. It does do a really nice and thorough job.
Whatever choice you make to condition your crop, you also need to take the time to check and look closely to ensure you're getting the effect you want.
So when we're conditioning hay, we should adjust close to what we think is appropriate and then mow around and get off and look at what that hay looks like after we have mowed that one round. And we should see a couple things. One is we should see 1 to 5% of the leaves showing some bruising or some slight turning of color. The other thing is we should be able to see that the stems are broken every 3 to 4 inches. The bruising and the stem breakage will tell us that we've got enough tension on our conditioner that we're properly conditioning that alfalfa, both for the type and the amount of forage going through.
So that means that the crop that's going through your conditioning rolls or conditioning flails is going to get a nice thorough conditioning so that really when you're looking at the moisture loss, it really helps the hay to dry down quickly, and so that you can get your baling operation underway. The sooner you can do that, the more digestible your hay is going to be, and that goes right into the diet of the animal that you're trying to feed.
Adjusting and operating the mower and the conditioner in an appropriate manner is really crucial to producing high quality hay, which is profitable to the beef cattleman, the dairyman, the commercial hay grower, and everyone else involved.
The experts also say producers should be sure to set the appropriate roll gap and roll pressure to provide the conditioning they want for the crop they're cutting. Be sure to ask your local dealer to review conditioner setting with you prior to season to ensure you have the information to be successful. From the Imperial Valley of California, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Now remember, New Holland offers outstanding discounts for NCBA members. To find out more, visit the website beefusa.org or stop in at your local New Holland dealer.
It's the official monthly publication of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The National Cattleman is produced exclusively for NCBA members and includes coverage of the news and events affecting our industry. Every issue includes market analysis, feature stories, and practical management tips. Start receiving your copy of The National Cattleman. Call 866-USA-BEEF or go online to beefusa.org and join today.
In recent years, there has been considerable interest from cattle producers in using baled silage or baleage as a way to reduce feeding expenses. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter has a closer look at the advantages of baling forage at higher moisture levels.
For more than 2 decades, cattle and hay have gone hand in hand at Cooksey Farms and Show Cattle in Ohio. Jim Cooksey knows one of the keys to success for his operation is the quality of the hay he produces.
It's very important with the artificial breeding we do and the embryo work. Nutrition in the hay will up your numbers of eggs and consumption rate of A iron, and it has to be made right. If not, you're going to have to find something another supplement or something that's more cost to you to make it right.
Obviously, we're dealing with ruminants, so feed quality or hay quality is very important, and that's one thing with cooperation from Mother Nature that farmer can control is the quality of the nutrients going into the cow.
Producers are always trying to find new ways to maximize the efficiency of forage harvesting and storage. That's why farmers and ranchers in many areas are making the switch to high moisture hay.
We commonly refer to it as baleage or silage hay, and that hay is usually made somewhere between 40 and 60% dry matter. It can be in different forms, individually wrapped bales or inline or tube wrap bales.
Baling forage at higher moisture levels offers some distinct advantages, and one of the biggest is the ability to better manage the weather factor. Anyone in the hay business knows rained-on hay and delayed cuttings can have a negative impact on profit and forage quality. Baleage takes a lot of the weather worries off the shoulders of hay producers.
The best thing about the wet wrap is you don't need a 4 or 5 day window to get it done. You can get it done in two days, 2.5 at the most, which means a lot with the weather you're dealing with.
And it seems like it only rains when we're trying to make hay. So that window of opportunity to make the best quality of hay is oftentimes short. High moisture hay clearly creates an advantage when you have that as an option because you can work with the weather a lot better than if you're looking for a truly dry hay product.
Helping to beat the weather is not the only advantage of silage bales. Baleage also lets growers harvest hay when its nutrient content is highest due to a more timely harvest. In addition, baleage has better palatability than other feeds because of its soft texture. The end result is less waste in the feeders, keeping beef producers and their cows happy.
It's very palatable if it's made right and fermented properly. There's minimal, if any, wastage when it's fed. Just from personal experience, cows like it. It tastes good. They'll clean it up. So that's a big advantage in terms of eliminating waste to help reduce costs.
They don't have to be hungry to eat it. If it's made right, they eat it all.
A baleage system requires much the same equipment as a conventional hay system with some additions. Due to the increased moisture levels needed to effectively store baleage, existing round balers may not be appropriate. New Holland offers round balers that are built to withstand the rigors of harvesting high moisture forage.
With high moisture hay, it's really a matter of the baler itself and having a baler that has the right components and equipment to handle that tougher environment in high moisture hay.
New Holland has a long history in making balers that are silage ready. And in our latest generation of balers, the Rollbelt 450 and 460, we have models that come out of the factory equipped, ready to go to the field and make high moisture or silage bales. New Holland has completely redesigned the new Rollbelt series of round baler. In both the 4x5 and 4x6 bale size categories, or our models, the Rollbelt 450 and 460, you have the opportunity to get silage ready balers in a number of configurations. You can get a silage special baler that would be a 1.8 meter pickup in an active sweep configuration, which will give you a rotor type feeder that will feed over and into the bale chamber. You can also get a brand new model, which is a super feed. It's actually the unit that's behind me, which will have a rotor that the crop will feed under the rotor and up into the bale chamber to allow high capacity feeding in high moisture crops. So we've designed a baler that allows our customers to be more efficient and allow cattlemen to stay in the field where they belong and get the crop baled before the rain comes or whatever they're challenged with.
There are some important steps producers need to take to reduce the possibility that high moisture bales will spoil. First, keep a close eye on bale density. In general, the denser the bale, the lower the spoilage. Also, bales should be wrapped as soon as possible after baling for maximum preservation. The quality of the silage decreases as the length of time between baling and wrapping increases.
You can decide to either put them in a tube wrap or wrap them individually, but you need to basically prohibit oxygen from being able to access that bale and letting that bale rot. You need to cover it so that it can ensile and retain the nutrition and get the end product you're looking for.
Everything we do with hay production, we're losing forage. From the time you cut it to the time it's fed to the cow, we do too much not to preserve amount and quality of the feed. And a wrapper is a valuable component in the process.
New Holland is a valuable resource for producers when it comes to high moisture baling. The company helps its customers be as productive as possible when dealing with baleage.
Somebody that wants to get into high moisture baling, we can certainly walk them through the process and make sure that they've got the right equipment to do that and to be effective at it. We certainly encourage going out on farm visits and ranch visits where we can go out and work with the customers, understand the type of crop that they have and what their goals and objectives and are, so that we can provide them with the most appropriate piece of equipment.
New Holland has a long tradition in the silage special baling market, and with this core design of having high bale density and delivering a package that allows less bales in the field, less moves to save the operator money and time.
For many beef producers, the use of baleage systems to harvest and store forage may be a worthwhile investment. While making round bale silage may not be ideal for every operation, at Cooksey Farms they believe they've found the long-term answer to their feed challenges.
It's something that needs to keep doing, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's working good for us, and it's just something that I'm going to continue to carry on here.
Reporting from Circleville, Ohio, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
From getting hay cut to putting it up right, we've got more good insight for you still ahead on this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
There are many great reasons to join NCBA, and that includes exclusive NCBA member-only discounts, such as savings on new equipment purchases from New Holland.
Hi, I'm Mike Corman with New Holland Agriculture, and I'm pleased here to talk about our New Holland member benefits to the National Cattlemen's and Beef Association members. New Holland offers special benefits to NCBA members where they can save up to $1,000 off the purchase of a New Holland equipment. Members can save off the purchase of New Holland hay and forage and mid-range tractors, as well as other products. We have New Holland dealers located throughout the United States. Stop into your New Holland dealer and learn more. New Holland and NCBA, smart partners for agriculture.
Savings on equipment purchases from New Holland is just one of the fantastic deals you get as an NCBA member. Don't miss out. Join NCBA today at beefusa.org.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better throughout the whole year.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
Whether you're making hay or buying hay, there's no doubt you want to get the maximum benefit in terms of feed value for your cattle. That not only means getting hay cut and baled at the right time, but also storing it to preserve quality for as long as possible. We learn more about the keys to quality in baling and storing hay as Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter reports from Texas.
They say timing is everything when it comes to making the best hay, but beyond timing, there are key steps haymakers can take to ensure they bale high-quality hay that will hold up over time. Damon Hodges grows hay for a variety of livestock customers in East Texas.
The majority of our hay is it's coastal common. We've sprigged some Tifton, a lot of fescue in the bottom, and just a mixed grass, good quality grass, good clean grass. Our customers prefer a 4x5 bale, so that's pretty much what we stick with, make a good tight bale. The majority of our customers are local people, smaller type operations that have found, as we suspected, that they can buy their hay from me cheaper than they can bale it themselves.
Hodges believes in making high-quality hay for his customers' cattle, and the experts say there are several keys to putting up the best round bales.
Density is important when it comes to baling hay. A denser hay product is going to shed water more easily if it's stored directly outside. And in Texas, a lot of our producers do store hay outside because it is easier or cheaper. They may not have the resources or the desires to necessarily build a barn. So it does help shed some of that water.
Bale density is extremely important. On New Holland's roll belt round balers, we put a high level of importance on putting a high density bale out of the back of that machine. And really what that means is that we have designed our balers to use a combination of steel forming rolls and belts to apply the high amount of density pressure needed so that the bale can resist weathering and handle more moves easily. Really the benefit is to allow water to shed from that bale, particularly from precipitation. Bales will also wick moisture up from the ground. So having a high density bale allows that bale to resist moisture ingress into the bale a lot better and preserve that the dry matter and high quality hay that you're looking to feed to your cattle.
In fact, bale density is so important, New Holland now offers balers with variable core size and density technologies. Operators can customize bale density from inside the tractor cab and adjust two independent density settings within a single bale.
The ability to set the core size and density separate from the rest of the bale gives producers the ability to loosen up that core and get a little more breathability on the bale. If cattlemen are challenged by weather and need to bale their hay a little bit before they would like to, it's maybe at the higher end of that moisture range, they can loosen up that core so they get a little flexibility and breathability out of that bale after it's baled and on the ground, so that moisture can continue to escape from the bale and dry down and store better for them.
Proper bale storage is another key factor in preserving bale quality over time.
In order to sell a good quality bale, it needs to be preserved on our end up until time of delivery. So we choose to store it in a good facility, keep it out of the weather until such time. We sell hay all through the year. If they come in January and buy hay, they're getting a roll just like it came out of the field.
When we talk about hay bale storage, dry matter loss is a critical aspect because as we lose dry matter, we lose some of the quality, the crude protein, as well as energy value that we're providing for our livestock. So we're decreasing the feed value per se of that product. We feed our animals, our livestock, based on a dry matter basis. So if we're losing some of that dry matter due to poor storage selection, then we're going to lose some quality of that forage.
Obviously the best way is going to be to store in a building where I'm going to see at the most 5% dry matter loss over time, and I'm able to hold those bales a lot better and preserve the quality. If I don't have the resources or ability to store inside, then obviously I've got to store outside somewhere. And really the best option for that is to remember that bales will wick moisture up from the ground as well as what's coming out of the sky. So it's important to store them in a sunny place where they have the opportunity to dry and that moisture to escape, but also on an elevated spot, perhaps on a crushed rock pad, so the access of the bale to the ground is limited to preserve the dry matter on the bottom of the bale as well.
Decisions made in the field also affect how bales are stored and how they hold up. While bale density is one important factor, another is whether to choose twine or net wrap.
There are different ways to wrap our hay, either with twine or with net wrap. And there has been information that has shown that net wrap actually reduces some of that dry matter loss when that bale is stored outside compared to twine wrap. It helps to shed some of that water as well, much more so compared to twine. So a lot of our producers do use net wrap and feel like it's much easier to manipulate than, say, the twine in regards to baling as well as feeding.
The twine would not be an option for us. Of course, we go with net wrap, and we put at least 2.5 to 3 wraps on it, because the majority of our customers don't have the option of storing their hay inside. So we try to produce a good tight bale with about 3 wraps on it, so it will preserve for their type of storage.
In fact, research shows bale wrap and storage methods have big impacts on feed value. Bales wrapped in twine and stored outside can lose up to 25% of the dry matter value in just 1 year. Experts suggest cattlemen test their hay crop for nutritive value.
It's very important for producers to have their hay analyzed, whether they're producing their own hay or if they're trying to market their hay to other producers, or if it's the producer, if they're purchasing hay. We always recommend hay testing, collecting samples to actually determine the nutritive value of that product. We're producing hay and purchasing hay to feed to livestock, whether it's cattle or horses or other livestock species, and our ultimate goal is to meet their nutritional needs. And without knowing the nutritive value of that hay product, we really don't know what we're feeding. We don't know if they have enough energy or enough protein to meet their needs for their production.
Haymakers across the country rely on New Holland equipment and their local dealers to keep up with the leading edge of round baling technology.
To learn more about New Holland's latest advancements in round baling technology, I encourage cattlemen to visit their local New Holland dealer. New Holland is celebrating its 120th anniversary, and we've built our reputation on hay equipment and expertise on making quality hay. So dealers are a great resource to really analyze a cattleman's production system and determine how to make them make better quality feed for their cattle and put more money in their pockets.
Reporting from East Texas, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
To learn more, visit your local New Holland dealer or head to the website newholland.com. Stay with us. There's more right after this.
Every truck can tow a boat. Every truck can climb a hill. Every truck can haul a trailer. But not everyone can say they're the fastest growing truck brand in America. Guts, glory, Ram.
What does it mean to be dependable? It means you do what you say you'll do time and time again. Because performance isn't optional, and your task is essential. For over 95 years, we have proven ourselves to be the most dependable choice. That's why the cattlemen of this great nation trust Ritchie to provide fresh water on demand. Ritchie, proud to be a partner to the American cattlemen since 1921.
There are few things more important to cattlemen and women than high-quality feed. Quality starts with getting the crop cut and baled quickly and correctly. First-generation cattle and hay producer Scott Ricks has relied on his tractor and his dealer as a cornerstone in the building of a first-class operation. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter traveled to Texas to find out how top-notch machinery has helped make this operation so successful.
We run what I would call a high-density cow-calf operation. That is that we run pretty high density numbers of cows per acre, and we do that by maintaining really just improved grasses everywhere we go. We try to calve usually early in February so that by the time the calves are able to use some of the nutrition from the grasses that we have, that they're able to take advantage of that.
Scott Ricks relies on high-quality hay and forage to see his cow herd through the winter. That means getting the crop cut and baled in the most efficient manner possible. Ricks has relied on his New Holland tractor not just for his hay operation, but for all his ranch responsibilities.
Quality is obviously got to be your first priority. You spend a lot of money, you invest a lot of money in that hay crop, and you want to do the very best that you can. That way it translates into greater gain for your animals, quicker rebreeding. So I would just encourage them to make the investment in whatever they feel they need to turn out that best hay crop. For me, it's having New Holland equipment that I can rely on, that's easy to use, that's safe. The auto command transmission for me is just really a blessing. And you have equipment that you can rely on. You don't want to be out there in the hayfield and then have something break down on you.
When it comes to daily chores on his operation, Ricks needs to depend on a tractor that's safe and reliable for everyone involved with getting the work done.
I chose the Auto Command tractor because, quite honestly, I just love it. It is just so easy to use. I needed a tractor that my wife could use, that my daughter could use, that if I had someone helping me for a day that I could put in there and feel confident that they would feel safe using the tractor and that they would be able to use the tractor. And that's really what led me to choose that tractor.
CVT stands for Continuously Variable Transmission. CVTs are ideal for cattlemen because you're going to be knocking down hay, you're going to be putting up hay, you're going to be moving hay and doing material handling. In today's CVT tractors, you get a whole host of features that tie in with the transmission to make you most productive. The infinite speed selection and the programmability of the transmission is going to allow you to be more productive.
New Holland's Auto Command transmission is a smart option for today's progressive cattlemen. New Holland first introduced the CVT on high horsepower tractors and applied the same design to a smaller tractor that's ideal for cattlemen.
Now, as opposed to a traditional transmission where gears are used, what a CVT allows you to do is to have infinite speed selection. And that is critical for haying applications as well as loader work because, you know, if you've got a gear transmission and you're out in the field, sometimes you don't have that right gear to match your field conditions to make sure that you're the most productive you can be. With the CVT, especially when you're running your disc mower conditioner or your round baler, you're able to set the RPMs specifically 540 or 1000 RPM to match your implement, but then to dial in the speed to perfectly match the ground conditions to make sure that you're most effective and productive in your applications.
Cattlemen spend a lot of time in the tractor seat doing their daily chores. That's why New Holland put extra focus on cab comfort and controls for Auto Command tractors.
The controls are laid out very nicely. The multifunction arm is very handy to control tractor speed if you want to slow down or speed up. And on that same multifunction arm are a lot of the switches that you use frequently, like your hydraulics or even your shuttle. They're all just located right there that you can actuate with your thumb.
So when we're talking CVT transmissions, whether it's New Holland's Auto Command or a competitive CVT transmission, one thing that's universal is ease of operation. We've really had leaps and bounds with regards to how comfortable and easy it is to operate the tractor to allow cattlemen to get the most out of their day. So whether you're talking in the case of the New Holland with its Sidewinder 2 adjustable console that allows you to place controls right where you want them. So after a long day of knocking down, putting up hay, you're still refreshed and comfortable. To the Command Grip controller, which gives you fingertip access to 8 of the most commonly used controls. Again, we thought of the operator, we've thought of not only safety with the CVT, but also operational comfort to allow them to be the most productive they can out in the field.
Just as important as the tractor itself is making certain the machine is properly maintained and ready to go in the field. To do that, dealer support can be crucial, especially during a busy hay season.
Down here in Texas, our weather changes so quickly. We can be nice and sunny and have storms all of a sudden get on the forecast. And so if I have downtime, then I really put my entire crop at risk. And so having good dealer support is just key for me to make sure that I keep running and get the hay in the barns or the hay put up at the appropriate time.
As many times, simple maintenance prevents a very expensive repair. Many people forget their coolant doesn't last forever. I've had customers come in with coolant that's 10 years old in their system. People forget to make sure the radiator's clean from debris, and it'll collect dust and debris in there. If they're using a four-wheel drive tractor in the off-season, they've got their stops removed, and when they go to doing hay, you don't want to turn too short.
In addition to keeping your equipment well maintained, another key to success is fully understanding the capability of your equipment.
I think the critical thing here is to know what your CVT tractor is capable of. Before you go out in the field, and even take a refresher each spring before you go out, because CVT transmissions in modern tractors have a lot of things that will help with your productivity.
The other issue is safety. You know, this tractor, when you're backing up to an implement, if I need to move 1/4 of an inch, I can move 1/4 of an inch. If I'm unloading pallets with the front end loader, and I need to just very carefully move that tractor forward or backwards, I can do that very simply, and it's just so much safer. And so I really appreciate that. And of course, the most important reason is that my wife loves it. And we all know when a happy wife, or a wife is happy, that's good for everybody.
Reporting from Belleville, Texas, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
New Holland Agriculture offers outstanding discounts to NCBA members. To learn more about those discounts, visit beefusa.org or your local New Holland dealer.
Long range, huh? Says here in a weight gain trial of calves on cows, parasite control with long range outperforms Cydectin and Safeguard dewormers combined by as much as an extra 40 pounds per head. I wonder what that'd feel like.
Do not treat within 48 days of slaughter. Not for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows or in veal calves. Post-injection site damage such as granulomas and necrosis can occur. These reactions have disappeared without treatment. You have a lot to gain with Long Range.
Parasites will lose you more money than any other disease out there besides infertility. So, you know, parasites is something that we have to control, and that's what VetGun does for us. It's tough out there on a ranch, but with the ease of the VetGun, it's a one-man operation, and whenever you can get one thing to work out great throughout that day, it just makes my life a little easier.
We know who made that hitch. We know who cut the steel, who milled the ball, and who welded the seams. We know who tested, measured, and checked. We even know who thought the whole thing up. We're B&W, and we know your hitch. Because we don't make them halfway around the world. We make them all right here. B&W. Trusted.
I have calved a lot of heifers in my life, thousands of them. And all of us who've had that type of experience know that after the sweat and the strain, the slick and the sticky, the hope and the pull, the grunt and the sigh, when that little creature plops out on the ground, sometimes there is a moment that time stands still. A second or 2 or 5, we stare and our world is suspended, waiting for a sign. And then that new baby sniffs or blinks or sneezes or wiggles an ear, and at that moment, it feels like the burden has been lifted from our shoulders. We did it. We did it again, just regular old common people like us, engaged in that age-old profession of stockman, have taken part in a miracle, life being passed from one generation to the next. And it's no small thing to be a part of. And every time it happens, it renews us somehow. The miracle never diminishes. Last week, the high-horn red cow finally calved. Baby was solid red like Mama. I sat there the next day, a horseback, and studied him for a few minutes, long enough to figure out if it was a bull calf and getting plenty to eat. When I was satisfied, I kind of swung away and started back through the mesquite on a cow trail. And I heard a mama bawling, and I looked back to see it was that high-horned red cow. Well, I looked around for her, and then I looked down, and there he was, that little calf right behind my horse's hind leg, trailing along. Well, he looked confused. He could hear his mama, but something didn't smell right. Well, I reached down and patted his head, and he looked up at me and said, "What are you doing here?" About that time, my dog stuck his nose under his tail. He jumped like a deer, straight-legged, and trotted back towards his mama in that sort of ungainly, trying out their new legs kind of gait. It was pretty funny, actually. The dog and I couldn't help but laugh. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Thanks, Baxter. NCBA's mission is essential to the well-being of the cattle industry, and more members means a stronger organization. To find out more and to learn about all the exclusive benefits of being an NCBA member, just give us a call at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit the website beefusa.org. We're back right after this.
The things we like about that Gator is it's kind of a go-all, do-all machine. We load it up, we put it in some of the dirty jobs that we can match with it. It helps us clean pens. We'll use that to haul anything out of the pens that we need to and go out and dump it. We also take it for feeding outside pastures. I am Rita Hunsucker, and I live for this.
Want to rewatch an episode of Cattlemen to Cattlemen or catch up on anything you've missed? Then visit our YouTube page. You'll find replays of all of our shows filled with educational segments and producer profiles from around the country. It's also another chance to see Baxter Black. So check us out at youtube.com/Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks for spending some of your time with us. We'll see you again next week right here on RFD TV.